Hi, my name is Ron Bazar. I'm 68 years old and I'm at the clinic, the 3D prostate clinic here in Jiangtan, China. I'm at the end stage of my journey here and I want to fill you in about me, why I came here, and what I think of this experience that actually totally changed my life. If you're a new possible BPH or prostatitis or prostate cancer sufferer, this may be the dream you've been looking for. 15 years ago, I woke up in the middle of the night, had to go pee, and not a drop would come out. And for the next 5 hours, I was in absolute agony until I could get to the clinic in my hometown where they were able to put a catheter in and relieve me. A few days later, at the urologist, I discovered I had an enlarged prostate. So enlarged that I was put on the emergency surgery list. That was a month long. After a week with the catheter still in me, I decided I'm not going to do the surgery because the side effects of the surgery were too scary for me. And so began my journey to find an alternative method of treating my enlarged prostate. A few weeks later, I got called by the booking nurse to be booked into the hospital for my emergency surgery. The waiting lists were really long and everybody would pay to get on the emergency list, and I told her, no, I'm not doing it. It was a very scary moment for me because to go on your own to try to find an alternative method of healing was a big adventure for me. I spent the next 10 years doing everything I could explore except the medical treatments of either the synthetic drugs that had many dangerous side effects or the surgeries that could leave you with incontinence, with bowel problems, with erectile difficulties. I didn't want it, or leaking, having to wear diapers. I didn't want any of that. I saw every kind of practitioner you can imagine. I spent tens of thousands of dollars, probably over those 10 years. It was at least $10,000 to $15,000 every year on different treatments, different options, and nothing worked. Finally, 5 years ago, I discovered a really revolutionary insights into diet and what were some of the triggers that can cause a depletion of zinc from your prostate, which then can lead to an enlargement. And a lot of the foods I was eating, I realized, were contributing directly to my problem. When I made changes to my diet, my symptoms subsided. They didn't go away, but they became manageable. And so then I wrote some books about this. Some of you may or may not know me. I wrote a book called Healthy Prostate. You can see it on Amazon. I then put a website together called Natural Prostate and put all my knowledge and experience about traditional ways of traditional medical treatments plus alternative ones and insights to causes and so on. I then followed up Healthy Prostate with some other books. Prostate Health Diet, Prostate Cancer Prevention Diet, Prostate Massage, and a few other smaller books as well. But over those 5 years, I was able to manage my symptoms. They never fully went away. And actually, they probably continued to worsen. When I saw a urologist about 4 or 5 years ago, his comment to me was, your prostate is as enlarged as Texas. It was 110 grams. A normal prostate's 20 grams. So here I am, 5.5 times bigger prostate than normal. I would wake up at the night 2 or 3 times a night to go pee, and a good night would be 1 or 2 times. But over the next few years, I started developing more symptoms. I had to be even more careful with my diet. I had to really choose my foods very carefully because some of them would trigger a reaction, a frequency, and in the worst case scenario, in the middle of the night, I would wake up and I would have to urinate something terribly, and sometimes couldn't, and have to use catheters, which are no fun at all. So I started researching again and looking for other alternatives. And I came to, a year ago, I went and had prostate artery embolization in Portugal. And it helped me a little bit. My prostate had grown to 240 grams, 12 times the normal size. Huge. And it maybe shrunk a little bit. It gave me a little bit of respite, but still didn't work. And then early in this year, 2016, I discovered the 3D clinic where I'm speaking from right now. And this has changed my life completely. I can't tell you how happy I am to have discovered this. Dr. Song and Dr. Ivan, the team here, absolutely amazing in what they've done. They've been able to actually identify the causes of what created my condition and all the other patients who come here. And this is a revolution. They actually analyze, do such thorough testing, blood test, ultrasound, bacterial test, that they can identify the bacteria that's causing the problems and the viruses that are causing the problems. And you can see these on the slides when they do the tests. I was really worried when I came here because on the flights and the foods, the wrong food could trigger me to shut down. I brought a bag of those catheters. This is just a few of them. I should just show you now. And I even brought my own food for the first few days because I was worried that the food would trigger a reaction and I would shut down. So what they do after they identify the causes of your problem is then they do precision medicine injections right into the prostate. And those injections start to kill the pathogens, the bacteria and the viruses inside that have caused the problem and the calcifications. And what that did for me, after two days, I was able to eat anything I wanted. I didn't have to worry about any reactions. I was so ecstatic after so many years of being hyper careful about everything I ate. I could eat anything. It was a revolution for me so quickly after coming here. That was the first step. And what was interesting too, in the test results, my testosterone levels are actually low. And a lot of doctors in the West use high testosterone as a reason for having an enlarged prostate. But I don't have high testosterone. So how in the world could I have an enlarged prostate if my testosterone is low? So that is a fallacy. They believe it's the bacteria and the viruses that have caused an acute prostatitis combined with my enlargement that have made the problem. So this clinic here is a revolution because they understand fully through all the tests they do what creates your condition. And then they're able to take targeted precision medicines injected right into the prostate that deals directly with those pathogens and starts to kill them off. You have to be here over a course of 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks to go through depending on the severity of your condition. Mine is obviously a really complex case. It's the largest prostate that Dr. Song has ever seen by a lot. It was maybe 220 grams when we began. And yesterday he said to me, it's reduced by half. It was so hard at first, he couldn't even get the needles more than partway through and into them to put the medicines in. Over time, they softened. So what happens is these injections that are adjusted every day kill off the bacteria, kill off the viruses, and allow the prostate to start to soften. And then, when you go back home, what happens is, because you're back home, you're more rested, and everything's been dealt with, you start to discharge the calcifications that have softened and are able to come through all the tiny little channels inside the prostate and work their way out through the urinary tract and come out in your pee. And actually, it already started this week, and I've seen a layer about that thick at the bottom of my pee bottle in the morning, where you can see the calcifications, tiny little granular gray stuff. And everybody has a different color for what comes out. And they say that will continue for the next 3 to 6 months back home. Those calcifications will come out and the prostate will continue to shrink. This is a miracle. There's no other place like this in the world. This is what I've dreamed of finding. Someone who could understand truly what caused it and has the solution. And what's amazing when you're here, you talk to the other patients. Everybody's different, everybody's got their unique situation. But all of them, I've been here a long time, so I've seen people come and go. And we're at the end stages and you hear their stories. He's actually healing all of them. This is a very dedicated team. 7 days a week you come here for a treatment. It's not for everybody. It's expensive. It's in China. You have to come here. But it works. And if you've been looking for something that works, this is the place where you can do it, because you'll solve your problem. 95+% cure rate. We're talking cure. If you want to go for surgery, if you want to go for pills, you can do that. They have side effects. Maybe faster, maybe covered by your medical, but certainly wasn't my option. This, no side effects, no surgery. It's a miracle. It truly is. I feel so fortunate to have discovered this clinic, to have found such dedicated practitioners. You know what 3D really stands for? There's 3 components. Determine the causes. I described what that was about. Then destroy those causal factors with targeted precision injected medicines. And the third part is to develop your healing as a byproduct of the treatment that will continue as I go home and recuperate and allow the calcifications to come out and my prostate to shrink. It's an absolute miracle. There's nowhere else on the planet that does this. It's an amazing place. The city of where I am is about an hour and a half westward, inland from Shanghai. It's a city of about 3 million people. The other clinic, there's 2 clinics. There's one up in Changsha, which is where the airport is, an hour away, and that's, I think, 5 million people or 7 million people there. So between the 2 clinics, I can only talk about this city here. It's completely safe. I hardly ever see a policeman. They don't even wear guns or anything. I've never felt any anxiety, day or night, walking anywhere. I go anywhere all the time. Yeah, it's an adventure being here. It's very different. There's very little English. But I stay at the MGM 5-star hotel, which I highly recommend, because it's about a half an hour, 40-minute walk to and from the clinic. And walking is really good to do when you're at the clinic, because it moves your energy, and it's good after your treatments. So a good walk there and back, and sometimes I go along the park, and it's very, very helpful. And the hotel is very clean, it's modern. The only problem is internet in China is slow. At the clinic, they've got a virtual public network that speeds things up, and you can get onto Google, but normally you can't use Google here, you gotta use Yahoo or something else. Google's not in the good books in China at the moment. Other than that, if you're looking for something that will truly heal your prostate problem, this is the place. And I'm just ecstatic. I've been reborn. I can't wait to get home. It's been such a joy to be able to eat whatever I want. The only criteria now I use is try to keep it healthy, but nothing causes a reaction anymore. I don't have to worry about using catheters. I can eat anything. And I'm going to update my books and my websites with all this new information because I want people to know about this clinic. It's an enlightening, transformational experience. And if you're looking for something that's different, that's not harmful, it's not going to leave you with side effects, it's not going to cause you to have regrets after, this is the place. Everybody here that I've seen will vouch for this. You read some of the other testimonials, they're for real. This place is no pretense, no, it's very simple, very clean. The equipment is sterilized every day. The needles are all pre-packaged, one use, thrown away. Everything is completely safe. Government standards here are as high as back home in terms of cleanliness and so on. It's inspected here. I've never had an issue with any of the equipment or any of the ways they're doing things. You're in wonderful hands here. It's a dedicated team. They work 7 days a week, 11 months of the year. And you need treatments every day for your period. If you're not sure about coming, you can come for an examination, and you can then decide if, from what they say from the examination, if you want to stay or not. One thing I liked about it, they didn't ask for any money up front. You'd pay during the first week or at the end of the first week. So I felt, okay, there's not a lot of risk to come here other than the travel time and all of that and the hotel and the air flight. I decided to come and no regrets. So I wish you well in your journey on your prostate hunt and hope that this helps you in your decision making. If need be, you need to contact me, you can do it through the clinic. Take care.